Hello and welcome to Regen, the e-racing podcast. I'm your host Dino, and I'm here once again with Chris Salisbury from Motorsport Monday. How are you once again, Chris?
Hello, I'm good. Great to be back on once more. Fourth time now. You can't keep me away.
No, you're turning definitely turning into a regular these days.
You know me, eager as always. I love talking about Formula E.
You got your cup of tea with you?
Yeah, I've got my cup of tea. I'll probably have a slurp in a second.
Oh, very good.
I'll try and be quiet though.
I'll try and cut you out as much as possible. So yeah, keep slurping away.
Brilliant. Edit me.
Alrighty, let's just crack into this. This is going to be an action-packed one. Media of the week. I have been watching Grand Prix Driver, the McLaren sort of documentary by Amazon.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it is a very interesting behind-the-scenes look into what actually goes on in the factory and the different sort of, well, the behind-the-scenes footage of what drivers do and how hard they push themselves and just some of the struggles of McLaren and the Honda engine. It was a real eye-opener about why they struggled so much.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there'd be a few problems in that scenario.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. So, do you have a media of the week, Chris?
Yeah, I'll have to give that a peek. Over the past week, I've been watching a TV drama called War and Peace. Absolutely fantastic. It's only 6 episodes though, which is a bit annoying. But it's based on the book War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, and absolutely fantastic show. It's got Paul Dano in, Lily James, who was in I want to say it was a live action version of Cinderella that was Disney, but absolutely fantastic show. I've seen it before. It was released in 2016, as I just said. Definitely check it out if you get the chance. Very good.
Cool. I will have to check that out. You'll have to send me some links for where you can find it.
Yeah, I will. We'll insert them into the description, and yeah, very good. Very good show. Very good.
Excellent. Now, Chris, bit of controversy also in the Jaguar I-Pace E Trophy with it coming back for Sanya. New track, obviously.
Sanya. We've seen it at Adair, Mexico City, Hong Kong, and Sanya again. And yeah, it was a very controversial race actually, and it was
when is it not? Good. When is it not?
Yeah, when is it not? You know, it's that's electric racing at the moment, isn't it? Though completely unpredictable, sprinkled with a bit of controversy.
Yeah, that's how we like it.
We love it for it. Really, we love it for it.
Yeah. Okay. So, first Kaka Bueno, second the Kiwi Simon Evans, and third Stefan Radzinski. Now, Simon Evans now leads the championship with 46 points after Brian Sellers was disqualified. Now, I saw you. I didn't read it. I'm a terrible person.
Oh.
But well, I've been writing the show notes for this, to be fair. So
need those readers.
Yeah, I'll read it after. But Brian Sellers was disqualified for suspension, was it?
Yeah. So originally in the final result, it was Sellers who took third. He started from third place in the race, and it's a very lengthy statement, but after post-race scrutineering, it was found that he didn't use factory-installed dampers and springs on the rear suspension of his car,
right?
And that failed to comply with the championship's regulations. So he used the wrong springs essentially, and they weren't up to Jaguar Land Rover specification.
Right. Wow.
But also, when it was examined further, there was a cable tie found strapped to the rear shock absorbers of his car, which would increase roll rigidity and therefore stability
in the
rear suspension.
Oh no.
And I think it was that eventually led to the disqualification, because it just changes the whole balance of the car, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what led to his downfall.
Oh. And do you know if all the cars get scrutinised, or is it just random checks?
I'm not sure, because I haven't been able to get to an I-Pace trophy race this year, so I haven't seen the whole process of how it works. But in Sanya it was a only 11 cars race. So I would imagine that all of them would be scrutineered. I mean, Formula E, they're all scrutineered afterwards. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm presuming it would be the same procedure.
Okay. Well, very unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky.
Yeah, it puts Simon Evans up the top, which, yeah, that's good for us Kiwis. So let's keep him there, and a good showing from him. Stefan Radzinski with his first podium.
Yeah, so we've had Simon Evans shoot back to the top. He's leading once again after Adiria, and then we've got Radzinski in third, and that's TW Atachita's first podium in the series, his first podium in the series, but probably quite. It'll give him a bit of hope as well, because he hasn't had the cleanest run in the championship. He had a couple of DNFs, some scrappy races, and yeah, third for him. He originally finished fifth at the line. He finished fifth at the line. The disqualification from Sellers put him to fourth. But then Sergio Jimenez was also handed a 1 second time penalty after the race.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so the 1 second time penalty put Radzinski up another place, and that was because Jimenez pulled off another questionable overtake in the final stages of the race.
He's good at that, yeah.
Yeah, he's good at that, but we like that he's good at that because his overtaking's fantastic.
Yeah, we do.
It really is
perfect. Alrighty. Yeah. We will jump into Formula E and Quali and Superpole. This was a bit of a surprise, but really I should have known that the Nissans would be quick. So we had in Superpole Alexander Sims, Daniel Abt, Sebastian Buemi, Jean-Eric Verne, and Oliver Rowland. And Rowland coming out on top with pole. Did you think this was going to be the outcome?
Oof, it's a hard call, really, because we've seen Rowland up there. It was his third Superpole appearance in a row. And the Nissan package has been showing a lot of pace recently, particularly on Rowland's side of the garage. But I didn't expect him to take pole. After finding out that Buemi was in Superpole, I immediately thought Buemi will get pole.
Here we go.
Sebastian Buemi. He's a qualifying machine. He's a Formula E machine. Put that man behind a solid car, and he'll deliver you a solid result. But that wasn't the case. Buemi crashed in turn 3 in his final qualifying run, and that just left Rowland unchallenged, really.
Yeah, I guess Jean-Eric Verne only a 10th behind, so it was pretty tight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Abt started off qualifying. He completed his qualifying run, and then we had Verne, who was the second slowest in the top 6, because he was 5th fastest in the group qualifying stages. And then eventually Verne's time that was set as the second time in the session ended up as good enough to be second best. But that was because Buemi crashed, obviously. I think if Buemi hadn't have had his incident, he would have been up there, obviously. But also Alexander Sims. We saw Sims didn't take part in Superpole, for those who haven't seen qualifying or haven't read any media or looked at anything. But Sims was supposed to take part in Superpole, but had a gearbox failure. He was just unable to select gear and select drive in the car.
Yeah, just couldn't go.
Yeah, he just couldn't go, so he couldn't complete his final qualifying run, but he was very fast. He was very fast in qualifying.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. It was a very tightly grouped initial qualifying, though, among the 4 groups. I think Buemi ended up with a 2/10 advantage, and then, we had just small margins off, like 6,000, 7,000 off, and it was very, very tight.
Yeah, it was. And both BMW cars, both Nissan cars making it into Superpole. I mean, I think the Audis had the pace. I don't know what happened to Lucas Di Grassi. He was quite a wee way down the order.
Yeah, I would have expected Lucas Di Grassi to be up there, but he was qualifying in Group 1, I believe. And Sanya was a coastal circuit again. And we see this in Punta del Este all the time, where sand will be blown onto the circuit will become a bit dusty and dirty, because of a lack of running in between FP2 and qualifying. And then Group 1 immediately sees its traditional disadvantage because it has to essentially act as one big hoover and clean-up circus for the rest of qualifying. We saw Sam Bird struggle. He was the first man out in qualifying. And I think he ended up in 16th overall.
Well, in that case, well done to Da Costa, Group 1.
Yeah, Da Costa was very pacey.
Very good.
I'm not sure how much of an advantage he has. I want to say, I think it was about half a second advantage over the remainder of the Group 1 runners.
Which is just incredible when you think about it. So, yeah he obviously did enough to start third in the race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great result for Da Costa. The BMW package was very strong in Sanya. It was because the BMW is an efficient car, and it's not short on power either. But what was interesting though was the Nissan car. So I don't know if you've read anything over the past week, but it's emerged that Nissan is running a double motor generator unit in its powertrain.
Right.
Which is very interesting. So obviously in Formula E, in its first season, we saw a stock powertrain be used. I want to say it was developed by Renault. I might be mistaken, but I am waking up at the moment.
Thank you for joining us.
So don't quote me. But in season 2, we saw Formula E teams be able to develop their own powertrain using their own specification. And we saw DS Virgin Racing use a double two-motor generator unit in season 2. And then Neo have also tried it from season 2 to the end of season 4. I think they've given up on that there now, though. And what the double motor generator unit does is it's completely legal. In Formula E, you're allowed to use 2 motor generator units, or you can use one single one. Completely down to the design team and the manufacturer, or whatever would be preferred. But it probably increases efficiency, but it also leads to like a more equal power dispersal to the rear of the car. And Nissan have been using this specification. I think they're the only team on the grid that are doing it at the moment. It's certainly working for them. But Nissan they've had success developing electric cars in the past. They obviously released the Leaf, which I think is the best-selling electric vehicle on the market right now.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it isn't.
There's plenty of them driving around here.
Yeah, there's loads down here as well.
Yeah, everywhere.
I'm up here. But
well, it depends which way you spin the globe, but yeah.
Yeah, or which way you're holding it. Upside down, if in this case, because I'm so worn out. Yeah, I just think that's quite interesting. With the Nissan car.
Okay, the race. A very chaotic start. Pascal Wehrlein caught napping, it seems, but makes up some lost places back. And very curious, he might have been talking on the radio, I think it was, and just didn't expect the lights, because the lights took a long time and then went pretty quickly, so...
Yeah, the lights took so long to go out in Sanya. I was waiting for the at least the first red light to go on, and the drivers were parked for what seemed for forever. I'd love to actually time it to know how long it was. The cars were parked for so long, it actually left drivers caught completely off guard. So Wehrlein was on the team radio apparently. I had a terrible getaway on the grid, but he was able to fight back through the field.
Yeah, it was a good fight back from him and D'Ambrosio.
Yeah, it was a solid result.
Some crashes certainly helped their cause late in the race, but we'll start with Nelson Piquet. Now, this has to be the most under pressure driver right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Piquet is. Yeah, I think this is a make or break season for Piquet now. It's a sink or swim season, definitely.
Because you've got to say, he's. Dare I say it? Do Jaguar keep showing faith in him? Is it just a rough patch in the second half? As we head into the, I guess what would you call it, the European leg of the season? that things might improve?
I don't know. Jaguar, who do they have to turn to at the end of the day? They've got Hope in Tongue as their reserve driver.
Yeah, maybe just yeah.
But I think at that stage, it's better to keep Piquet in the car. But this off spell for Piquet hasn't. It isn't just this season. He's only finished inside the top 10 on 2 occasions in the past 13 races in Formula E. Of those 13 races, he's only seen the checkered flag in 5 of them.
Mm.
And it's a dismal run of form. Piquet was obviously Formula E's inaugural champion. He hasn't finished inside the top 3 for over 40 races now. And I think it's a sink or swim season, definitely, for Piquet. But he didn't help his own case in Sanya either. He was fighting through the field. He was massively off the pace in qualifying. His teammate Evans qualified in 20th. Over a second off the pace, and he crashed the car in turn 5. Piquet didn't crash the car at all and was 1.7 seconds off the pace.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. And then Piquet crashed in the race eventually and just took full responsibility for it. I've got some quotes somewhere on Piquet. He says, obviously it doesn't help both of us starting at the back. Usually there was strategy, which is being aggressive. In my case today, I take full responsibility for hitting the wall. I was pushing, I had nothing to lose, and I had to try and gain positions. The team have been working hard, but we need to work harder and continue to make progress to put us in a better position for qualifying and a better position for the race.
Yeah, that's it.
They're struggling over the pace of one in qualifying on their 1 lap pace, and that's impacting their race result directly. So
right, well, I'd be calling up, Maxi Gunther and being like, "Hey, how's it going? You wanna hop in the car over here?"
Yeah.
But
slide into the DMs.
Slide into the DMs. I love that. Slide into the DMs of Maxi Gunther, Jaguar. Go on.
It's good. What you doing?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? You wanna?
What are you up to?
You wanna come and have a meeting and maybe drive our car? Anyway,
job?
You want a job? Yeah. So, with 21 minutes to go in the race, Vern, with a great overtake for the lead, just chucks it up the inside of Roland, and then is completely gone up the road easily. This was a great piece of driving. This was composure that we haven't seen for a while from Vern. Yeah,
it hasn't been he's the reigning champion in Formula E, and his season has been uncharacteristic for a driver of his caliber. He failed to finish in the points in Santiago, Mexico City, and Hong Kong, so it was a dry spell of 3 races. And that equalled his worst run of form in Formula E to date. That was back in Season 2 when he was driving for Virgin with that, 2 dual motor generator unit package. But, yeah, it was a total upturn in form from Vern. And Vern's performance in Sanya really does warrant praise, I think. Because in practice 1, he was struggling massively for pace. The car had changing balance, he was locking his tyres, Diaz Tachita had to bleed the brakes, and it was looking like a very difficult weekend for them, potentially. And he turned it around, put it on the front row of the grid in qualifying, and won in, I think, very strong circumstances, definitely.
Yeah.
His overtake with 21 minutes to go was a fantastic overtake for the lead, very opportunistic. We saw him hunting Roland, poaching him on the shores of Sanya, just weighing up where he could get past and where the driver was at his weakest. Saw the opportunity in turn 11 and just went straight up the inside. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my moment of the season so far, to be honest.
It was exceptional. What's typical with Formula E, of course. The race in Sanya was different to what we've seen this season. There wasn't as much overtaking. I think that was probably because of the circuit layout. Perhaps I don't think it was the best circuit we've been on, but it was good. But it was very much the race felt like a procession to start off with, but as Formula E does, in the blink of an eye, the click of a finger, so much can change. And Vern overtaking Roland with 21 minutes to go was a catalyst for just one big colossal titanic battle at the front, really.
I think the commentators put it perfectly that the cars behind smelt blood, and
Yes.
Roland went over the curve and lost a piece somewhere, and then the other cars were right on his tail, and it was a
straight
defense
on it.
straight on it. You know, any sort of weakness, they are there,
Well, exactly.
which was awesome. Yeah, it definitely all kicked off after that.
I mean, the field backed up behind Roland. It was like a procession. I think it was the top 7 cars on track that were just nose to tail. Vern found his way past Roland. Then Da Costa was sniffing at the driver. I think I want to say he looked up turn. No, he didn't look up at turn 3. He tried to overtake in turn 5, picked up a bit of damage, and then Apt had a go, and it was just fantastic to watch.
It really was. And Alexander Sims' crash, that was unlucky. Just finding himself on the inside a bit too close to the wall. I think Andre Lotterer gave him enough room. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Sims' race came to an end in turn 5. So while Da Costa, had a sniff at Roland on the inside, it was Lotterer who thought, I'm going to pull this overtake off, and in true Lotterer fashion he did. Charged straight at the inside of Sims, performed the overtake, but Sims was left hanging out to dry around the outside, basically, and just slapped the exit wall of turn 5 and into turn 6. That caused suspension damage to the car, and he obviously retired as a result. But I think, Lotterer was completely justified in his overtake. It wasn't a clean overtake. Well, he didn't make contact with Sims at the end of the day.
No, I thought it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I thought it was perfectly fine. He left the room. There was an investigation post-race, but it was decided that it was just a racing incident. Sims felt that Lotterer was to blame for the accident, and he still does. But if I was Sims, I would probably say the same in all honesty. So I think it was justified, really.
Alrighty. Buemi, Frains, and Degrassi. This is a bit of a tangle. And Buemi at fault, or is Frains at fault for potentially moving under braking?
It's a classic debate, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It will be soon.
It will be. Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone back and looked at it. I just saw the race, and Frains absolutely ploughing into Degrassi, which that was him done. He wasn't going anywhere after that. And I think he was running 6th, and then couldn't finish the race.
Yeah. So the crash happened in turn 8, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was Frains was pressuring Degrassi massively in the closing stages of the race, but then he came under pressure from Buemi, and Buemi started from the pit lane and had this fantastic drive. He fought from the back of the grid all the way through the field to be running inside the top 10 competitively and really challenging, the points runners. The whole race turned on its head in the penultimate lap. The timing screens had hit 0. All Vern had to do was cross the line, do one more lap, and then job done, race over. And no sooner had Vern gone through the turn 8 hairpin, and the rest of the field started following through. And it looks like Robin Frains did brake earlier into the corner. Then that caused Buemi to run into the back of him. And with the pushing force behind, Frains was unable to slow down. He smashed into the side of Degrassi. Degrassi retired immediately, straight away. jumped out of the car, full course yellow deployed, and then the race ends in the yellow flag conditions and controlled conditions.
So the results: Jean-Eric Verne takes the win, and he also gets the fastest lap. Oliver Rowland on pole and gets second. Da Costa in third. Andre Lotterer, that's a good drive from him, up from 7th. So he comes 4th. 5th, Daniel Abt. Jerome D'Ambrosio, pretty much inheriting 6th. Pascal Wehrlein inheriting 7th. Buemi in 8th. Mitch Evans, a storming drive from 20th to 9th. And shout out also to Felipe Massa coming home in 10th from 15th on the grid. I'm just going to go top 10. The rest of them got a goose egg. And there wasn't really that many finishes, to be honest. This was carnage all throughout.
Yeah, there were so many retirements. So many. I haven't got the results in front of me. But I do now. We only saw 14 cars finish in Sanya. So Felipe Massa retired. He had a technical problem on the opening lap. Sam Bird retired. He was the championship leader going into the race. He was rear-ended by Stoffel Van Dorn on the first lap. And then Van Dorn also retired. Jose Maria Lopez had a technical issue on his Dragon car, failed finish.
I've got to say, those Dragons are just... Oh, those Dragons. What's going on?
I don't know what they're doing at Dragon, in all honesty. I don't think many people are interested in their plight, but yeah, it's probably something, really random. Like put the powertrain in upside down, or I don't know.
Sorry for interrupting, but yeah.
It's, yeah, I don't know what's going on. We had Paffett take 8, well, didn't take 18th, he didn't finish either. He had a drive shaft failure, I believe. Sims, who crashed. Piquet, who crashed, not for the first time. And then Degrassi, who was the victim of the crash at the end of the race. So a lot of retirements.
Carnage. Absolute carnage.
Yeah. It was a typical Formula E race, wasn't it?
It was. We're seeing more and more of that this season. Okay, so driver of the day. Who have you got for driver of the day, Chris?
I struggled to pick this one because Roland did such a good job and to finish second, and you've got Verne as well. But I think I'm going to give it to Verne.
It's a good choice.
Simply because of his upturn in form. We've seen, he's had a very difficult season. It hasn't been the easiest run for him. 3 consecutive non-point scoring finishes. Then he struggled with pace in practice with all of his braking problems and balance issues that I've already mentioned. And then a total turnaround of performance, front row of the grid, the win. I thought it was a very controlled and measured drive. Yeah, Verne gets it for me. What about you?
I was going to go Buemi, but I'm going to go for Rowland. Yeah. The Nissan looked really good. I think like he said, he probably needs to work on his race pace, but I do think that it was looking really good, and hopefully he can get the win next time.
I mean, that's the thing with Rowland. You've got to remember he's a rookie in Formula E. I think, it was his 7th race start in Sanya, and compared to someone who's as experienced as Verne, it was Verne's 49th race start. He really did impress, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He mixed it up with the big boys and the veterans of Formula E, the big Formula E powerhouses and names. And it was expected that the race in Sanya was going to be very heavy on energy efficiency and energy usage. So obviously to manage energy figures was important, but we didn't really see that problem at the end of the day. I think all of the cars finished the race with double figures of percentage left on their battery. So,
yeah, that's thanks to the safety car and the full course yellow, but yeah,
plenty of full course yellow safety cars. So yeah.
So that is 6 different pole sitters and 6 different winners. Is it from 6 different teams?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
I think it is. Yes, it is from 6 different teams. 5 different powertrain manufacturers.
The most unpredictable motorsport in the world.
Most unpredictable motorsport in the world, most unpredictable Formula E season to date. You just can't. It's impossible to predict every race.
What a time to be alive, listeners.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Right. So the Drivers' Championship. This now puts Antonio Felix da Costa up on top of the points with 62, Jerome D'Ambrosio 61, and I've got to say, he just keeps picking up the points, D'Ambrosio. You know, just chipping away, just getting the recovery. Jean-Eric Verne goes from 11th to 3rd with 54 points. He's back in the fight. I think it was not too long ago that I said that Verne wasn't going to be able to defend his title, and I think I just wrote him off too early.
Yeah, I think I said that Verne would win this race.
Yeah.
I was so happy when that happened.
I bet you were. Sam Bird.
It's nice to predict something.
It is. Yeah. Sam Bird now 54 points after scoring nothing this race. Lucas Di Grassi 52 with Mortara on 52. Daniel Abt up to 44 points. Robin Fraines, he's down to 43 points. Andre Lotterer at 41. He's slowly making his way up after that disappointment in round 5. Pascal Wehrlein slowly chipping away on 36, as well as Mitch Evans now on 36. Oliver Rowland on 27. So those are the main contenders at the moment. But I think, yeah, anyone in that sort of range is still in the fight.
I think we've just passed the halfway point of this season, and it is completely unpredictable to predict who will win the championship. You've got Da Costa on 62 points, D'Ambrosio 61, Verne 54, Bird 54. It's so tightly grouped. I was just doing some very quick mental maths. And with the Rome Prix being the next race, we could see Andre Lotterer, who's in 9th, with 41 points. If he did win in Rome, he could take the championship lead. In the space of one race weekend, we've seen Verne jump from 11th to 3rd.
It is great.
It really is unpredictable, and no one knows what will happen every weekend because, you know,
it's good.
fantastic racing at the moment, and you know, this new Gen 2 package is delivering. The race format is delivering. TAC mode is fantastic. I think Formula E have really hit the nail on the head this year over the racing action.
Definitely.
Best season to date.
And that brings us to the Teams Championship. Envision Virgin Racing on 97. Also tied now with Mahindra back up top with 97. Audi, 96 points now. This is, this is very quickly turning into the Audi and DS show again. DS with 95. BMW with 80. Venturi 67. Nissan 46. Panasonic Jaguar 37. HWA 7, Neo 6, and Geox Dragon 2. Just a note, Tom Dillman is the only driver with 0 points, as well as Felipe Nasr. And Nasr's only been in the car a couple of races, so come on, Tom.
I think Tom will finish in the points. I think it's every time he's been in a Formula E car, he's delivered. And I think he's been very unlucky with what he's been given to drive this season, because that Neo car it looks like a challenge to drive. And it's just not quite right, is it? 6 points for Neo this year. I don't know how many points they had at this stage of last season, but it's such a difficult season for Neo. And Sanya was their home race as well. They're a heavily Chinese-influenced team. Registered as British, I believe, because they're based in Oxfordshire, actually, quite close to me.
Oh well, head down the road. Can you get an autograph for me, or?
I will. I'll try my best. Actually, if you this one I'm going to get inundated with tweets from people going, "Oh, can you get me one?"
Well,
no.
Yeah. Just get Tom to sign a stack if you can.
I'll auction them off on Twitter. But difficult season for Neo at the moment. Very difficult. But Geox Dragon at the bottom of completely at the bottom with 2 points.
Yeah, well.
Dismal.
That's just
very
hashtag put
little
Gunther back in the car. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, NASA won't be racing in Rome, obviously, because he's driving an IMSA. I think we're expecting a driver announcement within the next few days on that. But yeah, who will it be? Who will it be?
This is going to be interesting. We'll see if your prediction/conspiracy theory will come true from last episode.
It probably won't.
It probably won't, but you never know.
Probably, knowing my luck, it won't. But if it did, I'd be surprised.
And speaking of Rome, last year, pole position went to Felix Rosenqvist. The fastest lap was Daniel Abt. In the podium, Sam Bird won last year. Second, Lucas de Grassi, and third, Andre Lotterer. So, I would like a prediction, Chris. Who have you got?
I've written down a name. I knew you would ask me this prediction.
Yes, it's on the outline.
I thought it's completely impossible to predict, really. So I've said, completely based on the fact that Andre Lotterer can take the championship lead from 9th in the driver standings currently. I said that Andre Lotterer is going to win the race.
Okay.
On that basis.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the cards have to fall in the right direction, but it's possible.
Exactly. Why not? Why not?
Why not? Why not indeed?
Why not?
Okay, I'm going for a 1-2 Nissan. I'm going to go Buemi to win, Roland to come second, and Lucas de Grassi to get third.
Mic drop.
There you have it. Okay.
Bang.
That's it. So, that is all for this episode. Thank you for listening right to the end. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, Rome will be good. Finally the start of the European leg of the season, so no more ridiculous time zones for me to cover and work on, which is a dream come true. But
that's the thing. Like in New Zealand, it was all Saturday, so the whole thing was on Saturday, and the race was Saturday evening. It was great.
See, for me, I think it was. I was doing stuff from around about 10 o'clock at night on Friday. Then didn't finish until 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So, and I say I finished at 11 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday. It didn't end then. I had a couple of hours of sleep, got back up, continued riding and doing stuff. So, it was a long one. It was a very long one for me.
And just quickly, Voest Alpine, the European League has its own trophy.
Is it?
Yeah. So the European League has its own trophy for this year. You remember that?
No idea. I had no idea.
I've
learned something new.
No one. I was talking on Twitter today, and no one recognizes or remembers this fact.
I had no idea about that.
Right. Okay.
But
it did get announced. Yeah.
It makes sense because the European League's 5 rounds, I want to say. It's Rome, Paris, Berlin. No. Rome, Paris, Monaco, Berlin, Bern. Yeah, yep. 5 rounds. That makes sense, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Prediction on who's going to win the European League's trophy?
Ooh. Lucas de Grassi.
Yep, I agree. Cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. This was a lot to unpack, but thank you for listening to the end. If you would like to talk with us, all feedback, questions can be sent to hello@regenracingpodcast.com. We can be found on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and regenracingpodcast.com. And if you have a spare minute, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or my new favourite, which is Podchaser. We would really appreciate that. Our intro music, Danelle Armour, featuring Sarah De Warren Gallery, and it is used with permission from Danelle Armour. Check out his amazing music wherever you listen to your music, or major platforms. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you soon.
Perfect.